The sea was calm that evening, the kind of calm that feels borrowed, temporary, fragile, deceptive. Waves rolled in slow rhythm below the cliff, crashing softly against the rocks as if whispering secrets to the shore. Our son stood a few steps ahead of us, his back turned, hands shoved deep into the pockets of his jacket. He had asked us to come here suddenly, said he needed to talk, said it couldn't wait. We should have known then. Parents learn to read their children long before they learn to read the world. We noticed the stiffness in his shoulders, the way he avoided eye contact, the silence that stretched longer than necessary. Still, we followed him, because that's what parents do. "You remember coming here when you were little?" I asked, trying to soften the moment. "You used to say this cliff felt like the edge of the world." He nodded slightly, but didn't turn around. "Yes," he said. His voice was steady, too steady. That's when my wife squeezed my hand, just a little, just enough to tell me she felt it too. Something was wrong. We didn't know yet that this would be the last moment we stood behind our son as his parents, believing we were safe. He turned around slowly. His eyes were red, but not from crying, from something else. Fear, maybe, or exhaustion, or the weight of a secret carried for too long. "I need you to listen," he said. We nodded. And then he stepped forward. There was no warning, no argument, no raised voice, just a sudden force against our chests. The world tilted, and then we were falling. The wind tore the scream from my throat before it could form. Time fractured into pieces, memories flashing, gravity pulling, the sound of my wife's gasp swallowed by the air rushing past us. As we fell, one thought cut through the terror, sharper than the rocks waiting below. Our own son pushed us off the cliff to silence us. The impact was violent, unforgiving. Bone met stone, breath left my lungs in a broken gasp. Pain exploded everywhere at once, too much to process, too real to deny. And then there was darkness. I woke to the sound of waves and the taste of blood. For a moment, I thought I was dead, that this was what came after, the endless ache, the empty silence. Then I heard my wife's breathing, shallow, uneven, but alive. We were wedged between jagged rocks, hidden from above. If we had fallen even a few feet differently, we would have been gone. Barely alive, but alive. My legs wouldn't move. My ribs screamed with every breath. I reached for my wife's hand, terrified of what I might feel, or not feel. She squeezed back. Tears burned my eyes. Above us, footsteps crunched near the edge of the cliff. Our son. "Mom?" he called out, his voice trembling. "Dad?" He waited. No answer. He tried again, louder this time, panic creeping into his tone. "They slipped. I tried to grab them," he shouted into the wind. I lay there stunned, not by the pain, but by the performance. He sounded convincing, devastated, broken. If someone heard him, they would believe him. That's when the truth settled in, heavy and horrifying. He had planned this, not in rage, not in madness, in calculation. We didn't raise a monster. We raised a quiet boy, a careful one. He hated conflict, avoided trouble, always cleaned his room without being asked. But monsters don't always roar. Sometimes they whisper. Years earlier, our daughter had died. A fall down the stairs. That's what the report said. Tragic accident, wrong place, wrong time. We believed it, until we didn't. Small things began to surface, contradictions, memories that didn't align, bruises that never made sense. And one night, when grief cracked us open enough to let doubt in, we confronted our son. He didn't deny it. He cried, shook, told us it was a mistake, a push during an argument, a slip, panic. We promised, my wife whispered now through pain, remembering. We promised we wouldn't tell. We had thought protecting him was love. We were wrong. Because love, we learned too late, became leverage. The sun dipped lower. Our bodies were failing. We had no phone, no way to call for help. Above us, our son paced. We could hear him, muttering, crying, rehearsing his story. Then his voice changed, cold. "I'm sorry," he said softly, not to us, but to himself. "I didn't want it to be like this." A pause. "But you knew too much." Footsteps retreated. Silence followed. That silence was louder than the fall. Rescue came hours later. A fisherman spotted movement among the rocks, flashlights, shouts, hands pulling us toward the surface of the world we thought we'd lost. In the hospital, our son sat by the bed, face pale, eyes hollow. He held my wife's hand like a grieving child. "I thought you lost me," he whispered. I watched him closely. The tears were real. So was the lie. Police called it an accident at first, a tragedy narrowly survived. Our son's story matched the evidence, no witnesses, no proof. But something had changed. We were no longer afraid of losing him. We were afraid of him. Weeks passed, then months. At night, I replayed the fall again and again. Not the pain, but the moment before it. The look in his eyes. Not hatred. Relief. He believed he was finally free. We didn't confront him again. We didn't accuse him. We did something quieter, something stronger. We told the truth. About our daughter, about the cliff, about the son we loved, and the one we no longer recognized. People didn't want to believe it at first. They never do. But truth has a way of resurfacing no matter how deep it's buried, just like us. The day he was arrested, he didn't fight, he didn't scream. He just looked at us, eyes empty, and said, "I did it for us." I realized then, the most terrifying truth of all, he truly believed that. Now, when I stand near the ocean, I still feel the wind pull at my chest, still hear the rush of air as the ground disappeared. But I'm standing, alive, and haunted by a question I may never answer. If you discovered your own child was capable of erasing you to protect a lie, would you still call it love?